Hello, my name is Dr. Jocelyn, a urologist with over 30 years of clinical practice here in Brazil. And today I'm going to reveal a secret that the pharmaceutical industry doesn't want you to know. There's a simple food you can buy at any market or supermarket that has the power to completely transform your intimate life. I'm talking about firmer erections, more pleasure, more vitality, as if you'd gone back to your 20s. Do you know the last time that moment of personal pleasure gave you the same sensation as when you were 20 years old? Right, and it's not your fault. Let me explain something I've learned over these 30+ years, seeing men of all ages. What you put on your plate directly determines how your body functions, including the intensity of your erections, the depth of your pleasure, and the power of your climax. I'll be direct with you. Sensitivity diminishes over time. That special moment that used to be intense becomes kind of bland, doesn't it? The sensitivity seems wrapped in cotton. The release becomes monotonous, disappointing. And look, I see men like this every day in my office. Men in their 50s, 60s, 70s who tell me exactly this. But here's the good news. It doesn't have to be this way. And I'm not talking about medication. I'm talking about real food. Foods that nature gave us and that work better than many medications out there. So stay with me until the end of this video because I'm going to show you exactly what these 5 powerful foods are. And look, this isn't empty talk, okay? Everything I'm going to say here is based on scientific studies, serious research, and especially on my experience of more than 3 decades treating men with these problems. Let's start with the first food, and this one is the king. It's beetroot. That's right, that red root your grandmother made salad with. But let me tell you why beetroot is so powerful. Beetroot is full of natural nitrates, and when you eat beetroot, your body transforms these nitrates into nitric oxide. Now pay attention to this part because this is where the magic happens. Nitric oxide relaxes and dilates your blood vessels, all of them, including those that are responsible for your erection. You know that famous little blue pill? Well, it works by increasing nitric oxide in your body. Beetroot does the same thing, but naturally. It's practically a natural remedy, free, that you buy at the market. A 2019 study published in the scientific Journal of Sexual Medicine followed 87 men between 55 and 72 years old. You know what the researchers discovered? The men who consumed beetroot juice daily for 12 weeks had significant improvements in erection quality. I'm talking about firmer erections that lasted longer and with more sensitivity. Now let me make an important observation here, because many people get this part wrong. The right amount is 200 to 250 mils of beetroot juice per day. It's 1 glass, okay? You don't need to drink liters and liters. In fact, never take absurd quantities of anything, because even good things in excess are harmful. And look, there's a right way to consume it to get maximum effects. Ideally, drink beetroot juice about 2 hours before that special moment. Why? Because that's the time your body takes to transform beetroot nitrates into nitric oxide. It's as if you're programming your body to function at its maximum. You can make pure juice, you can mix it with orange to make it tastier, you can even eat cooked beetroot in salad. The important thing is to consume it regularly. I usually tell my patients, make beetroot your best friend. But beetroot offers much more than just nitric oxide. It's also rich in antioxidants that combat cellular aging. And look, this applies to all cells in your body, including those down there. The more you protect your cells from aging, the better everything works. Now let's move to the second food on our list, spinach. And I know what you're thinking, Dr. Jocelyn, spinach is Popeye stuff. Well, Popeye knew things, you see. Spinach is the testosterone manufacturer of the plant world. It's very rich in magnesium, and magnesium is essential for testosterone production in your body. And look, after 40, testosterone naturally begins to drop. It's normal, it's part of aging, but we can slow this drop with the right diet. A 2011 Italian study showed that men who consumed more magnesium had significantly higher testosterone levels. And testosterone isn't just about sexual desire. It's about energy, disposition, muscle mass, mood. It's about feeling like a real man. Now, an important observation that one of my followers raised in the comments. It's true that beetroot and spinach have oxalate, and oxalate in excess can overload the kidneys. So look, if you have kidney problems, if you've had kidney stones, talk with your doctor before greatly increasing consumption of these foods, okay? But for most people, consuming in moderation won't cause any problem. You can eat spinach sautéed, you can put it in omelets, you can make green juice, you can throw it in salad. I recommend consuming at least 3 times per week. And look, a tip. If you sauté spinach with a drizzle of olive oil, your body absorbs all the nutrients better. Let's now move to the third food, nuts and cashews. These are true energy bombs for your intimate life, and I'll explain why. Walnuts, cashews, almonds, all of them are rich in zinc. And zinc, my friend, is fundamental for testosterone production and sperm quality. Without enough zinc, your body simply can't produce testosterone properly. A study from the University of Michigan showed that men with low zinc levels had weaker erections and less sexual desire. When these men started to supplement with zinc, guess what? The erections improved, desire returned, energy increased. But there's an important detail here, and I thank one of my followers who raised this question in the comments. Doctor, I'm 76 years old and don't have teeth anymore. How am I going to eat nuts? Great question. And look, the answer is simple. You can consume integral peanut butter, cashew butter, or even grind the nuts in the blender and mix with yogurt or smoothies. You don't need to chew. The important thing is to consume the nutrients. Nuts are also rich in arginine, an amino acid that your body uses to produce, guess what? Nitric oxide again. See how everything connects? That's why a balanced diet makes such a difference. I recommend a small handful of nuts or cashews every day. It can be at breakfast, it can be as an afternoon snack. It's practical, it's tasty, and it works. Fourth food, dark chocolate. And look, when I say dark chocolate, I'm talking about one with at least 70% cocoa, okay? It's not that milk chocolate full of sugar you buy at the supermarket. Dark chocolate is rich in flavonoids, which are compounds that improve blood circulation. And look, everything that improves circulation improves erection. It's that simple. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that cocoa flavonoids reduce blood pressure and improve blood vessel function. This means more blood arriving where it needs to arrive, when it needs to arrive. But there's more. Dark chocolate also releases endorphins and serotonin in your brain. These are the hormones of pleasure, of well-being. So you not only improve the physical part, but also improve mood, disposition, desire. Now, a point that someone raised in the comments, and that is very important. Chocolate has sugar, even dark chocolate has some. So if you're diabetic or have pre-diabetes, you need to be careful with the quantity. I recommend at most 30 grams per day, which is roughly 3 or 4 squares. And always choose the purest possible, with less sugar. And look, if you have diabetes before increasing consumption of any of these foods, especially beetroot and chocolate, talk with your doctor. Beetroot has natural sugar. The juice concentrates this sugar, so you need to be careful. Fifth and last food, watermelon. That's right, that fruit you eat in summer, at the beach. Watermelon is surprising. It's rich in citrulline, an amino acid that your body transforms into arginine, which in turn becomes nitric oxide again. See how nature is perfect? Italian researchers discovered that men who consumed watermelon extract had improvements in erections comparable to medication use. Obviously, watermelon isn't as potent as a medication, but the effect is there. And the best part? Watermelon is delicious, it's refreshing, it's easy to find. You can eat the pure fruit, you can make juice, you can even make fruit salad. The important thing is to consume it regularly. But let me tell you something. The highest concentration of citrulline isn't in the red part of the watermelon. It's in the white part, that which is between the rind and the red pulp. So, when you eat watermelon, try to take advantage of a little of this white part too. Now let's talk about how to put all this together in a practical way, because it's no use for me to give you all this information if you can't apply it day to day, right? Look, I created a simple routine for my patients and it works very well. In the morning, at breakfast, you eat a handful of nuts or cashews. It can be with yogurt, it can be plain, it can be in a smoothie. At lunch, include a salad with beetroot and spinach, or cooked beetroot or sautéed spinach. Vary it so you don't get bored. In the afternoon, eat some squares of dark chocolate with a little coffee. It's tasty and it works. And look, if you're planning a special moment, drink a glass of beetroot juice about 2 hours before, or eat a generous piece of watermelon. Now let me tell you something I've learned in these 30 years of practice. Dietary change doesn't work miracles overnight. You need to have consistency. The first results you'll start to notice in about 2 to 3 weeks, but really significant results come after 2 to 3 months of correct diet. And look, it's not just about eating these foods. You also need to avoid some things. Excessive soda, fried foods every day, too much sugar, excessive alcoholic beverages, all this interferes. Your body is a machine, and you need to put the right fuel in that machine. I'll tell you a real story. I had a patient. I'll call him Mr. Joe to preserve his privacy. Joe arrived at my office at 68 years old, completely discouraged. He told me, "Doctor, I think my intimate life is over. I don't feel anything anymore. Nothing works anymore." I talked extensively with him, did some tests, and discovered that there was nothing seriously wrong. It was just a matter of habits. I guided him to change his diet, including all these foods I told you about. 3 months later, Joe came back to the office, and look, I'll never forget his face. He had a smile from ear to ear. He told me he was feeling like he was 40 again, that energy had returned, that everything was working, that even his wife had commented on the difference. And the best part? He didn't take any medication. It was just diet. Of course, it doesn't work for everyone the same way. Each case is unique, but it does work. Now, let me be very clear with you about something important. These foods are preventive and auxiliary. If you have severe erectile dysfunction, if you have uncontrolled diabetes, if you have serious heart problems, you do need medical monitoring. Diet helps a lot, but doesn't substitute treatment when treatment is necessary. And another thing, if you take blood pressure medication, especially those medications that contain nitrate like isosorbide, you need to be very careful with excessive beetroot consumption. The combination can lower blood pressure too much, so always talk with your doctor. Look, I know there are many people who think that after 60 or 70 years, intimate life ends, but that's a lie. I see 80-year-old men who have an active and satisfying intimate life. The difference is in the care, in the diet, in lifestyle. That's why some 65-year-old men have more potent erections than 30-year-old guys, because they take care of their health, eat right, exercise, don't smoke, don't drink excessively. The body responds to what you do with it. So let me give you some more practical tips. First, hydration. Drink water, my friend, lots of water, at least 2 liters per day. Dehydration decreases blood volume, and this interferes with everything, including erection. Second tip, physical exercise. You don't need to become an athlete, but a 30-minute walk every day already makes an enormous difference. Exercise improves circulation, increases testosterone, reduces stress. It works. Third tip, quality sleep. Your body produces testosterone during sleep. If you sleep poorly, your testosterone drops. So take care of your sleep, turn off the lights, turn off your phone, create a routine. Fourth tip, manage stress. Stress is a silent killer of libido and erection. High cortisol lowers testosterone. So find a way to relax. It can be meditation, it can be fishing, it can be playing dominoes with friends. The important thing is to have escape valves. Now let's talk about supplementation. Many people ask me, "Doctor, do I need to take zinc supplements? Do I need to take magnesium supplements?" Look, the answer is, it depends. If you eat these foods I told you about regularly, you probably don't need to. But if your diet is poor, if you can't include these foods, then yes, supplementation can help. But be careful, never self-medicate. Excessive supplements can be harmful. Too much zinc, for example, can interfere with absorption of other minerals. So if you want to supplement, see a doctor or nutritionist to guide you properly. And look, let me tell you something about this miraculous supplement business you see out there on the internet. You know those ads about increase your size in 30 days or guaranteed erection for 48 hours? Well, most are scams. There's no miracle. What exists is constant health care. Now, something I can't fail to mention, cigarettes. If you smoke, stop, seriously. Cigarettes destroy your blood vessels, and erection depends on healthy blood vessels. There's no food in the world that will compensate for the damage that cigarettes cause. So if you really want to improve your intimate life, quit smoking. And alcohol. Look, an occasional beer won't kill anyone, but excessive drinking is terrible for testosterone, terrible for erection, terrible for everything. So moderation always. Let's recap quickly here to really consolidate. Beetroot, spinach, nuts and cashews, dark chocolate, watermelon. These are the 5 powerful foods. Include them in your routine. Eat them regularly and you'll see the difference. But remember, it's not just about including these foods. You need to have a balanced diet overall. Quality protein, varied vegetables, fruits, good fats, avoid processed foods, avoid too many fried foods, avoid excessive sugar. And look, I know that changing habits isn't easy. We have busy lives. Sometimes it's easier to eat a pastry at the bakery than to prepare a salad. But think like this: you only have one body, and that body needs to last for the rest of your life. So it's worth investing in it. Let me give you one last tip here. Involve your partner in this. Make this a couples project. Cook together, try new recipes, transform this into something pleasurable. Intimate life isn't just about the act itself. It's about complicity. It's about mutual care. And look, if after 3 months applying all this you don't see any results, see a doctor. It could be there's some hormonal issue, some circulatory problem, something that needs deeper investigation. But in most cases, these simple changes already make an enormous difference. So that's it, my friend. More energy, more desire, more confidence, and yes, a more satisfying intimate life than you haven't seen in decades. All of this is possible. Nature gave us powerful tools. Now it's up to you. If this video was useful for you, share it with that friend who needs to hear this, and leave in the comments which of these foods you already consume, which you're going to start including in your routine. I love reading the comments and answering your questions.